across. Shot by Nadeau, and another heavy shot there. Wedgwood can't control the rebound. Morrow got it back to Nadeau. Canes trying to go with a little triangle offense here. They'll keep it in. Morrow, and there's the shot again. Nadeau hammers it home, and the Canes take a 2-1 lead. There's O'Reilly out in front. Now a chance there is Forsberg with a shot and had a little shoulder for Ty Smith. Great stick out in front.
Legault. Solid work from Legault.
As O'Reilly was waiting for it. Now it's Trikozov trying to feed it through. He does. They score! Robinson! Oh, what a setup. It started with Trikozov. They go tick-tack lead in Nashville. Eric Robinson puts the Canes up 4-3.
Bless you, Eric Robinson. Bless you, Eric Robinson. Welcome to the Canes Corner Podcast. I am Adam Gold. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy and his crew do a great job. You should check them out for all of your home improvement needs, your exterior home improvement needs, like siding or roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors. Well, you know it. Reason I said bless you, Eric Robinson, who wants overtime in a preseason game? Heck, we don't even really want to talk about preseason hockey when the whole preseason is over. We want to look ahead to the start of the regular season, which is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it in less than 20 minutes tonight. I know everybody, you got college football. Some of you are watching the Yankees try and come back on the Royals. Others of you might be staying up to watch the Dodgers and the Padres, Miami and Cal. Hey, maybe you're watching Duke football. I know if you're a local fan, you're probably not too thrilled with the way State and Carolina did today, or East Carolina. Ugh, 55 to Charlotte? Are you kidding me? All right. Here's what we're going to do. And again, we're not going to do it. I've got a clock in front of me. So we got about 18 more minutes here. I'm trying to get this done in about 20 minutes to get you on your Saturday. Maybe this will be good dog walking material. So what we're going to do is kind of think about the roster going ahead to the start of the regular season. And these decisions are going to come fast. I think starting tomorrow, we're going to start hearing this guy was waived, this guy was waived, this guy was sent to the minor leagues, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about some of the young players and the futures that they've got. Man, is Carolina loaded with prospects. My gosh. And we'll talk about goaltending, and then we'll be done. We're going to have other podcasts between today and the start of the regular season. So we're going to get further in depth on some other things. So let's start with the makeup of the roster. Jackson Blake had a great preseason. I think the team wants to keep him on the roster and bring him to the opener on Friday night. But herein lies the dilemma. In order to have Jackson Blake on the opening night roster, Carolina is going to have to free up some money. Let's remember this. With a stroke of a pen or a click of a mouse, they can free up $2.4 million in long-term injured reserve for Jesper Fast. They have not yet shifted that contract to LTIR. If they do that, then the Hurricanes have plenty of room. Here's the problem. If they do that, they can't build cap room between now and the trade deadline. And I think even if you have just a little bit of cap room right now, then you can build more. It basically expands like Hermione Granger's purse. It expands by the time you get to the trade deadline. Now, they've only got about, I think less than $100,000 in cap room. Actually, no, they have about $800,000 in cap room. So it'll get bigger. I don't know how much bigger it can get, but it will get big. It'll grow. Okay, so here's the issue. How many extra players do they want to carry? Do they want to carry a seventh defenseman and an extra forward? If Jackson Blake makes the roster, then the Hurricanes, let's just say Tyson Jost and Brendan Lemieux are your extra forwards. Can you carry those two and not a defenseman, a seventh defenseman? But if you do that, if Jackson Blake makes your roster and you're going to carry 2 extra players, whether it's Ty Smith or somebody else as a 7th D, or Lemieux and another forward, you're going to have to dip into LTIR just for a little bit. And I don't think the Hurricanes want to do that. Again, once you start using LTIR to create cap room, you lose the ability to build significant salary cap space for the trade deadline. So here's what I think. If they want to keep Blake, you're going to have to make a decision. Do we waive Jost? Do we waive Lemieux? Robinson? To be perfectly honest, I think Eric Robinson has been good in the preseason, and I think Robinson, Jack Drury, Jackson Blake might give you an opportunity to have a 4th line with some scoring punch. No joke. I know what people think. Well, Carolina doesn't, you can't put Jackson Blake on a 4th line. Yeah, with other teams whose 4th line is an energy line or a checking line, but that's not the case for the Hurricanes because the 3rd line, the Jordan Stahl line, pardon me if Rod Brindamore is listening to the podcast, which he's not. Jordan Stahl, Jordan Martinook, and William Carrier, that's Carolina's checking line. That's Carolina's defensive line. In many ways, that's their energy line, their mood changer. So your 4th line is just a line. I mean, if you wanted to think about it this way, you can. You can think about Jordan Stahl, Jordan Martinook, and William Carrier as the 4th line, the identity line. And say, hey, Jack Drury, you're a 3rd line center. They're not going to get a ton of time, but they'll get 10, 12 minutes. Jackson Blake on the right, Eric Robinson on the left, Jack Drury in the middle, Robinson skate. He's a big body. He played very well tonight. He was the first star of the game, really. No, Freddie Anderson was the first star, but Robinson was the best skater. So if they want to do that, and my sense is, and I believe that Jackson Blake has proven that he can play. Now, he may prove over time, honestly, that he can't. You can always send him back. So, but it's a risk if you want to put, it's a risk in 2 ways. If you want to put Tyson Jost or Brendan Lemieux through waivers and send them to the American Hockey League, even for just a little bit of time. Again, to avoid dipping into long LTIR. I'm pretty sure I have this right because what I have is the Hurricanes at about $87.15 million, which only gives you $850,000 worth of cap space, and Jackson Blake's rookie contract is $900,000. So that puts you about $50,000 over. Seems like in the NBA, they just ignore it. In Major League Baseball, it would just go on a luxury tax bill. But in a hard salary cap league, you can't really do it. So unless my math is incorrect, I think they'll have to waive an additional player. Like if they keep Blake, they're probably not going to be able to keep more than one extra skater if they want to build cap room. Now, if that is not an issue for them, then they'll simply shift Jesper Fast to LTIR, and they'll be good to go. But Jackson Blake has been one of the 12 best players in training camp. Flat out. One of the 12 best. I'm talking about forwards. And if you're the Hurricanes and you know that he's got a little bit of scoring flair, playmaking flair, he certainly demonstrated against Tampa last night that he is certainly capable of playing away from the puck, then why not? Why not? So something to think about. Now, the easiest thing to do by a mile is simply to send Jackson Blake to Chicago in the American Hockey League. Let him play on their top line, playing 18 to 20 minutes a night, power play, maybe kill some penalties with Nadeau, with Unger Sorum, whatever, with whoever else, and let the veteran players play. You have Lemieux on the right, Robinson on the left, Drury in the middle, or Jost, whatever. So that's the easiest thing for Carolina to do because it doesn't necessitate any hoops to jump through. I don't think Carolina needs a seventh defenseman just yet. Yes, if you get an injury, you can call one up, but I don't think they need one. And frankly, there isn't one that deserves to be a seventh defenseman. Ty Smith wasn't any good in the preseason. I think Ty Smith's got to go back to the American Hockey League, kind of prove that he can play. I didn't think Ty Smith was good at all. I'm not sure that Carolina wouldn't be better with a healthy Riley Stillman or maybe not Joakim Ryan, but heck, even Ronan Seeley, I think, might be a better extra defenseman, but you want him to play. He's a prospect. Riley Stillman is kind of a fringy prospect, journeyman depth player anyway. I think you could get away with Riley Stillman as your seventh defenseman, but he's not healthy right now. So because your full complement of D are healthy, don't worry about it. Just play with six. If you're not going on the West Coast trip just yet. Tampa home, Tampa away, Devils home, then you leave, and you're not even going out west first anyway. So I don't think there's the urgency to have a seventh defenseman right away. So again, I think if they want to play it roster, salary cap conservative, Blake goes to the A, and Carolina has to do a little juggling with the roster to fit Blake. They don't have to do any juggling with the roster, and Carolina just goes about their business. But Blake deserves, I think, to be on the roster and to be in the lineup. And if they do that, it's going to take some juggling. All right. I want to kind of run down some things. We got about 8 more minutes here. I want to talk real quick about the prospects. It is obvious that Felix Ungersorm is going to play in the NHL, is going to be a good player. He's got to get stronger, but boy, all the skills are there. He's kind of taken. He hasn't been a disaster in the middle of the ice. He has been in the faceoff circle. He'll have to work on that. But his playmaking ability, his vision is awesome. Absolutely awesome. We're going to see a lot of Felix Ungersorm. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw him a time or two during the season this year, but I would have to think that by next year, I think we'll be seeing him. Maybe he doesn't start the season with Carolina, but I think we'll be seeing him. And who knows, maybe it'll be back on the wing. Bradley Nadeau, same thing. My gosh, you can't teach that shot. But he has to get stronger. I mentioned this during yesterday's podcast that to me, I saw situations, it wasn't maybe yesterday, maybe the last time, Wednesday, where he basically was treated like dryer lint, just brushed away. So he's got to get bigger, get stronger, get a little bit more hardened. But man, the skill is so obviously there. Noah Gunler is definitely an intriguing prospect. He's got some offensive game too. Gleb Trikozov, or however you pronounce his name, Trikozov, I don't know. Bigger body, needs to develop the other part of the game, not just the offensive part of the game. Otherwise, he's Alexander Zykov. Remember him? He was like a DH, but he could score. I couldn't skate, but he could score. I think Gleb's a better skater, but a bigger body. It would be great to see him add a little bit more to his game, but another guy who can clearly play. Scott Morrow, I thought he struggled in the first period tonight, but I thought he was really good the rest of the way. He had the assist on the, was it the Nadeau goal? I think it was the Nadeau goal. Robinson to Morrow to Nadeau for the 2-1 lead. There's tons of ability there. He was better than his playing partner last night, Dmitry Orlov. So Morrow to the American Hockey League, be a stud. Play in all situations, kill penalties, be on the power play. And we'll see you with the Hurricanes, maybe for stretches this year, but certainly next year when Alexander Nikishin also comes over. And by the way, a little plug to the Substack, or we've had him on this podcast, but Canes Prospects, there's 5 prospects that are off to great starts. When Alexander Nikishin isn't the best prospect right now, not the best prospect, having the best start to the season among their prospects, Carolina's got a lot of prospects because Nikishin's been excellent, although he did start the season hurt. Anyway, Charles Alexis Legault, Ronan Seeley. There are legit players. Now, Seeley is probably a depth player, and Legault is probably a depth player. Who knows? Down the road, maybe that's a third pair. But Carolina has a lot in the cupboard, and that is very encouraging for a team that has spent so much time at the top of the standings. All right, we're going to close on goaltending. Oh, Freddie Anderson was great tonight. I didn't like the second goal only because he should have melted it down. That was I'm not really that concerned about the rebound as much as I am the puck's laying in front of you. You got to be able to smother that. And that to me was the problem more so than the rebound. Not that the rebound isn't a problem, but when the puck's laying in front of you, you got to be able to cover that and not push it back out into traffic. Rod's got a decision to make. You can not ruffle feathers and just say, we're going to go with the veteran. We're going to go with Freddie on opening night and let Kochetkov play the next night in Tampa. Or you could go with the guy who needs to be your number one, and that's Kochetkov. Pyotr has played 2 spectacular games. He's allowed 2 goals total. I understand he only had to make 17 saves last night, but I think 10 of them were excellent. So he was called on to really make some good stops last night. And I thought his first game, also against Tampa, by the way, in Tampa Bay, I thought he was outstanding. He got one of my 3 stars in both games. Not sure he wasn't my first star last night. Anyway, no, we made Shane Gostisbehere the first star because we got out of the we got out of the overtime quickly. So for me, Kochetkov's got to be your number one. He's got to start the first game. Then you go to Freddie Anderson, and it's pretty much going to be a rotation. Rod's going to use both goaltenders for a long time. Neither of them are necessarily super sturdy. Kochetkov is younger. Theoretically, he should be, but he got hurt. Remember, 2 years ago, he was banged up a few times. Anderson, we understand. Not to mention he wears down. I think it'll look like a tandem, but it'll be a tandem where Kochetkov gets more of the starts, as long as he continues to play well. But that's the way I would go. I would go Kochetkov on Friday night. One more thing before we say goodbye. We don't know what the status is going to be, but I'm going to make a wild guess here and say that Skylar Brindamore, who is here on a PTO, will get a contract. It'll be a 2-way deal, and he will start the season in the American Hockey League with the Chicago Wolves. I think he is the perfect organizational depth player. He does all of the little things. Big body, win faceoffs, go to get in front of the net on the power play, smart defensive player, and he's got a little bit of scoring. If you go back and look at how he played at Quinnipiac, he wasn't a 0 on the score sheet. Now, he wasn't a star, and unless you're a star in college, you're not going to score a lot or really maybe any in the NHL. But I don't think Skylar Brindamore is necessarily a future guy in the NHL that you need to score. But I do think he'll make the Chicago Wolves. I think he'll make them better. And who knows? Maybe he'll lift a trophy. By the way, somebody on Twitter said he bet the Wolves to win the Calder Cup at plus 10,000. I think worse things have been said and done. That's what I got on a Saturday night when the team was in Nashville and I was in Charlotte at a soccer match. No, not Charlotte FC. Anyway, we got to go. We'll see everybody this week. We got some things planned before we get to the start of the regular season. This has been the Canes Corner Podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. I went slightly over 20 minutes. We're into 20 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's go Mets. We'll see everybody this week and certainly for the opener on Friday. Good night.